So my name's Ira Kates. I'm the co-founder of Kultivar Co hot sauce. We're here in Georgetown, Ontario, where we have a lot of our hot pepper plants. We have about 1,800 hot pepper plants here. So you can see in this beautiful natural field, complete with the beautiful sun. We grow all of our own peppers, and we use a lot of other local ingredients to make super flavorful but super hot sauces. We've started with 10 plants in my in-laws' backyard, and we've ended up here. So it's been quite a growth over the last 5 years. A ton of peppers here. We expanded this year to work with another farm close to here as well. Big sun habaneros in here. There's a few different varieties of habaneros. You can even see some chocolate ghosts back there. You got serranos there, habaneros. These are some Scotch bonnets. Pretty smooth. They don't have the craggles like you see in your grocery store because they sort of grow a little differently. And you'll see some of them will look really different. Same plant, different pepper pretty much. This year was good. It's going to turn into our best growing season. The one exception to that really good year was a frost that hadn't happened. I believe our farming partner was saying it hadn't happened in this region for almost 100 years that early, which threatened our entire season. Frankly, it threatened our business. If it would have killed the plants, it probably would have killed our business. At one field that was close that we were able to do, we covered it off with the burlap, and we were able to protect the plants this way. But you can see how big this field is. This is almost an acre end to end and side to side. Too big, we can't cover that. So we knew, because of the protection of the trees around here, working with our farming knowledge, the trees would offer some protections, and we knew it was a calculated risk. We figured the frost was going to hit and it was going to be devastating potentially, but we figured it would impact mostly the foliage instead of the peppers, which that's the biggest risk. It wasn't going to get down super cold, but it was a problem we were not expecting to have. Frost kills off the vegetation, but it wasn't a heavy frost. You still get some really nice reaper, right, nice and bumpy. Great example of a fantastic reaper plant. You can see that has a lot of different styles of reapers, from your traditional, I'm looking for a good example of one, like a really traditional reaper right here, still ripening up, so I'm not going to pluck it off, to something a little more gnarly down here that almost looks like some of the recession to some like a scorpion, like what they started crossing it from. But it's coming from the exact same plant. Like, look at that. That's probably a 15-gram reaper right there. Like, that's a lot of pain right there. We predominantly grow super hots as well. You can see behind me our ghost peppers and our reapers. We have between the two of them, about 900 plants are those. Cayenne is my favorite pepper. If we're talking super hots, I really like the complexity of a ghost pepper. It just has such like a floral bouquet, and there's something of the mystery behind it. You know, you hear all the stories about how farmers in India, where it originated, surround their melon fields with it to keep elephants out. And I think that's just such this little pepper, like this little guy could keep like a 20-ton elephant or a 2-ton elephant, whatever they weigh, out of a field and keep we're talking about how Mother Nature supports everything, how it can, instead of spraying something on there, how a little pepper can keep something out of it, something so big that really wants that sweet melon to not go eat it. I think that's really cool. Plus it's delicious. It's hot, but it's delicious. Like we were just talking about, ghost peppers are my favorite peppers. You see, this is one of our really cool peppers. We got massive peppers on here. Like, these are probably going to tune in at about 17 grams, 15 to 17 grams of pepper. And they're like, look at this one. This one is, I'm just going to pop it off there. The size of that pepper and the weight. And when you crack that open, there's going to be like a great cluster in there. It's going to be for seeds, because we keep a lot of our seeds. And it's going to be dripping the oil, and it's just so gnarly and mean, but like delicious. It has a beautiful bouquet, and Like if you start crack, you can almost sort of smell it a little bit through the skin, but you can smell like the fruitiness and the floral nature of it. If we're talking about not super hots, it's cayenne. Cayenne is just like, it's great slicing, it tastes phenomenal, has a good punch of heat, but it has like a sweetness to it, like not even a sweetness, like a richness, like a rich flavor to it that I find lovely. So we take all these cayennes and then we start fermenting them. We have some massive carboys that go in there. Eventually we want to move into oak barrels. But it's such a funky flavor and funky dynamic that it builds into the sauce. That's your traditional cayenne, but we have some that, you know, are going to be massive. We've grown this breed a couple years ago. We've never been able to get the seeds before again, but they're called super cayennes. They're the size of my forearm. It was intense. Like it looked like the plant was just sort of dragging along like a zombie. It was a Halloween hot sauce almost. I think it was close to 750 or 800 cayenne plants growing, because the goal was this year to really ramp up our aged cayenne sauce. So we're going to take all that. Some get dried. 90% of them will get thrown into the big carboys and fermented. And then it gets into, we take that mash and we start cooking it down a little bit, just to get it bottle ready and everything like that. And it gives it we use cayennes 3 or 4 different ways there. It gives the sauce like a super depth of flavor. We have a whole range of sauces that go from your normal cayenne, like a really good wing sauce, to our Carolina Reaper sauce, which is not meant to blow your head off, but to be more like a shot of whiskey, a super flavorful, super nuanced sauce, and some other really cool things that we have, like a ghost pepper peach and citrus and scorpion, and our ghost pepper coffee molasses. That's our main line of sauces. And my background is in culinary. I was a chef for 10 years. I started off cooking in kitchens when I was 14. I grew up and grew up and grew up. I ended up running a restaurant out in Edmonton when I was 20, and came back and was a kitchen manager, chef. I went back to school for business and marketing, and then I started to get that itch to get back into the kitchen again when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. We decided to grow some peppers, and I started a new agency, and we were doing a new ad agency, and we were doing a talent auction. And so it was for charity, a couple of really good charities, Ronald McDonald House and a couple of others. And there was a guy in the office who said, oh, I could eat anything, absolutely anything. So a bunch of the creative people said, Ira, we're gonna pool our money. You're growing these peppers, make Vish sweat. And so we got it all together. We had this big chicken wing eating competition at work, and this is way before Hot Ones. And and Vish ate it, and you know, he repressed it, and you could see he was sweating a little bit. And then everybody started eating it, and you know, when people start eating what you make, and they're like, oh, we like it, and we want to buy it from you. Like, okay, that's cool, and that's neat. And I was making it in mason jars, and then finally we started getting emails from people saying, hey, I hear you make hot sauce, and it's really flavorful, and could I buy some? And then we launched Kultivar, because we were like, okay, maybe we have something. We were at this backyard cooking competition at a bar in Toronto. I'm standing next to this woman, and she's watching the two chefs face off. And one of them was using one of our peppers that we sponsored the competition for, and she's like, "Oh, that's my son," and he gave me this amazing hot sauce, this ghost pepper peach sauce. I'm like, "Oh, really? So tell me about it. What do you like about it?" She's like, "Oh, it's so flavorful and everything." It's like, "Oh, what's the name?" And it was our first iteration of sauces. I fanned out a little bit at her because I'm like, "That's my sauce." It was the first time that somebody I had no idea who it was came over, and we started talking about sauce, and she loved it. And I was like, okay. And my favorite thing when we could do tasting was somebody saying, you know, I can't handle heat. And I'm a big believer in not burning, you know, that bottom part of your tongue. And so I designed all of our sauces to be respectful of your palate like that. I say, you know, give it a try. Give it a smell first. Give it a quick little waft, and they'll slowly build up that courage, and then they'll dunk their stick in, and they'll taste it. And they'll say, oh, I can actually taste it. And I can see how this is going to help my food and support my food instead of just, you know, blowing my mouth off. our reaper sauce. Like we have to nuance it so much, like because the pepper, when you're getting a bunch of reaper pepper into something, it's not going to taste fantastic. It's going to taste like pain. It's designed, like I was saying before, to be like a shot of whiskey, where you taste like the roasted garlic, and we use some vinegar in it, and we use some supporting red peppers in it, so you taste all those nuanced flavors. Then you get sort of hit in the chest with it. That's our goal. It's like, oh, we don't want to burn your mouth, but we want, oh, that's hot. I think Mike, you even coughed when when you tried a little bit of it. Not the hottest thing you've ever tasted in terms of, like our customers will have tasted in terms of heat, but I stand by it being one of the most flavorful reaper sauces out there. We have some sauces coming out. We grew some new peppers. We have Aji lemons that are growing. Actually, a really neat one in my pocket. Really neat, sort of lemony, hot, yummy pepper that we're going to be doing something special with a couple of other Ontario growers. That is going to be coming out in the next couple weeks. We have a ton of red peppers, probably close to a literal ton of red and jalapeno peppers that we got to figure out what to do with. We don't have a jalapeno sauce, so I think we're probably gonna develop a jalapeno sauce pretty quickly. What we believe in is supporting the people who grow your food, working with other local businesses to support their business, come up with solutions, and also to grow how farmers used to. We don't just want to grow one crop and pull everything out of the earth, but build an actual ecosystem. The little frogs that are hopping around here, those are insecticides. You'll see, as we're going through plants, you'll see little spiders that have set up shop there, and they eat the little things that are going to destroy our peppers or spread disease. And you see, we were here earlier and you saw this massive hawk circling around because there's little critters that run around, and you'll see deer pass through this field. The deer will eat some tomatoes, but they'll also eat some of the grasses and everything, and then they'll poop. And that will work into the field, and it'll add nutrients back in. Knowing how to grow your own food and supporting the people that grow your food is something that we really believe in, and supporting the biggest person that grows your food in Mother Nature, it becomes one of the core principles of our organization.